Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Adrien Broner just did an interview, right, with Adrien Broner. And he talked about a lot of things, man. Being an alcoholic, giving up alcohol, being a heavy gambler, sometimes drinking during training camp, having a training camp that cost him $200,000, $300,000 because he would just basically had a lot of people there who he was looking out for. You know, basically wasting money. But there's something he said that kind of got my attention, and it seems to be a common thread across the Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford situation. What's going on with, what's his name, Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz. Adrien Broner talked about that being an issue for him getting a fight over there on PBC, is the fact that Adrien Broner said he still owed money from 6 fights ago. He said actually he hasn't been paid any money, received a check for his last 6 fights. But then he went on to say that Al Haymon would send him like 10,000 one day, 8,000 one day, you know, another couple thousand one day. Then it got to the point to got down to $250 or so. Almost like Al Haymon was giving him an allowance. Now, my thing is this, right? Trying to understand, because what's the relationship between Broner and Al Haymon? Now, is Al Haymon kind of having him on a payment plan where, let's say you have $1 million here. We know you'll blow $1 million in a weekend. Adrien Broner has blown $1 million in a weekend. He went on record and talked about how he was able to blow $1 million in a weekend. He had no regrets down in Miami, partying, renting luxury vehicles, just enjoying his time, having a time of his life with his friends. You know what I mean? Rock star status. But during the interview with Adrien Broner, they were like, yo, so how much money does Al Haymon owe you? You say you haven't got paid really your last 6 fights. We know he's giving you, some money here and there, but, your last 6 fights, that's a lot of money. Adrien Broner, in my opinion, that's got to be like 6, let's just say $2 million a fight. That's got to be like $12 million, right? And Adrien Broner said, look, man, I don't even care about that money. And you can see Adrien Broner kind of like, huh, what? This guy has your money, man. You sound like you're not in the best financial space. And Broner said it's because Al Haymon did a lot for him. And he's just going to go out and make his own money. Now, that's the part that's leaving me puzzled. Okay? Because Adrien Broner did an interview maybe 2 months ago or so, right? Where he was talking about being over there with Al Haymon, PBC, and sometimes 6 months, a couple of years it takes for you to get your money. And it's like, okay, that doesn't sound right either. But then I did a video and I was saying what I think is happening is these guys at PBC would have an event, and then the money made from that event doesn't necessarily go to those fighters. It goes to the fighters from a previous event to back pay them. And then the fighters from that event, once there's the next event scheduled and there's money made from pay-per-view sales, then they back pay the guys from that from that event. And it is just a pattern. That's what it sounded like to me. But in Adrien Broner's situation, it sounds like he was almost putting like a little allowance, like, hey, look, we want to, you're irresponsible, so we're going to take care of you. But he did say he has a different relationship with Al than everyone else. He says he talks to Al the way he talks to everyone else, with very unprofessional language. But what it also sounds like to me is with Adrien Broner, I don't know if he realizes that he's getting long handle spooned. You know what I mean? And he created that. He created that situation, and no one else created it for him. And we know he's about to come back into some money now. And I'm glad to see that he's given up the alcohol and the partying and all of that leading up to this fight, right? But my thing is, for everyone saying, yo, so glad Adrien Broner is back. He changed his ways. We're rooting for AB, right? To that I say, hold your horses. I'm rooting for him too. But I can't come out and just say, Adrien Broner is a changed man. Because just listening to him, you know, you can see some growth, but you can still see he's AB. And he can do what he wants. But he has 3 fights with BLK Prime. He's going to make 8 figures, right? After this first fight, I'm going to go on record and say this, right? And I'm positive. I believe in building champions. We don't break them down, right? But if Adrien Broner gets this 3-4 million or whatever he's going to get, right, for this fight, if he starts acting the fool again, I don't think he's going to make it to the 3rd fight. I don't think so. Now, if he remains disciplined, you know, settles his debts, makes sure everybody's okay, pays himself first, you understand? Financial management, pay yourself first, get yourself in a good space, you know, and don't overeat, don't blow up, don't just leave the discipline in the gym. You leave once you're outside the gym, you know discipline. In the gym, you're disciplined. Stay close to that gym if that's what it takes for you to remain disciplined. And he can get to the 2nd fight. Then I think we may be onto something. But I don't know how he's going to react at the end of this fight. Let me make this a little smaller, man. I'm not sure how he's going to react. And just watching him and listening to people, you know, I'm going to tell you guys something. Adrien Broner still has a lot of people who are rooting for him. A lot of people are still rooting for Adrien Broner. But we got to be honest, when you drink he was drinking every day. And that's what alcoholics do, you know what I'm saying? That takes a toll on your body, takes a toll on your heart. So I am not optimistic about Adrien Broner returning to his original form. It's impossible. Okay? It doesn't matter how great you take care of your body. You know, it's called father time, man. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that you used to do when you're younger, you just can't do as you get older. Especially when you've been in a lot of fights like Adrien Broner has. Floyd Mayweather looked fantastic up to the point where he retired from boxing. But he wasn't Pretty Boy Floyd. And he didn't smoke, he didn't drink. You got Adrien Broner who smoked, drank, he never did drugs, but he didn't take care of his body. He gained a lot of weight. Floyd never did all that. And you can still see Floyd has slowed a little bit, you know, but he had made the right adjustments to where he could still extend his career and not take any damage. And if it affected a guy like Floyd, who was extremely disciplined in and out the ring, in and out the gym, you better believe with Adrien Broner, he's been affected because he had no discipline. You understand? Not wishing bad on him. I'm rooting for him. And I think they should feed him because the other concern was, well, you know, Adrien Broner, we hate to see him like this. Now he's resulted to fighting bums. Let me tell you something. That's not fair. Now, you see Adrien Broner and Anthony Joshua. That's fair to say about Anthony Joshua. But Franklin's not a bum, but still, Anthony Joshua doesn't need to fight bums. Anthony Joshua is still, he needs to be in there fighting, you know, elite fighters. Anthony Joshua he's still within that space of being great. Adrien Broner, he needs bums. We got to see how his body responds. We got to see if he'll let his hands go. You might as well do that against a bum. If he can get that out the way, it looks spectacular, people will talk about the fact that he fought a guy who really posed no threat. But they'll also talk about, damn, AB looked pretty good. Then in his 2nd fight, he bubbled up the level of competition, see how he's looking, and then hopefully, you know, he does what he needs to do to get the win, look spectacular, and then his 3rd fight, and maybe he gets in there on a B-level fighter. But I think the next 2 fights for Adrien Broner should be tomato cans, should be bums. I think they should. I think they should be, shit sandwiches. That's just me. I don't think Adrien Broner should be in there with anyone who could hit him and drive him into a shell to where he doesn't let his hands go. This kid he's fighting, kid is out here talking about he's about to put Broner in retirement. I don't think the kid has the ability to do it. I get it in boxing. It's not the best boxer who wins. It's the fighter who boxes the best on that night. But I just don't think this kid has what it takes to create any kind of problems for Broner. But I think Broner, you know what, if I was Broner, man, I'd fight 3 tomato cans. People will turn out, see him, do his thing, spectacular knockouts. That's what he needs. This stuff about Adrien Broner fighting Regis Prograis, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Adrien Broner does not belong in the ring with no Regis Prograis. He doesn't belong in the ring with no Devin Haney. He doesn't belong in the ring with Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, I said Teofimo Lopez. Adrien Broner doesn't belong in the ring with any of those guys who've been active. Adrien Broner belongs in the ring with tomato cans. And he needs to be in there so he can get his confidence up, remain disciplined, and look spectacular, and get people to kind of jump back on to the AB train, to ride with him. Now, after he gets through these 3 fights, he made his 8 figures, right? He's in a great financial space. If he can get to the 3rd fight. But then go into the next year, he's in a much better space. He can go into a big money fight against a big name. And maybe Adrien Broner can pull off the $20 million payday. You know what I'm saying? Then he's in a better space. But I just think with him, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. Just one fight at a time. But I'm still not sure about this money thing over there at PBC. While Adrien Broner, for his last 6 fights, he hasn't received a check. They've been almost like paying him by allowance. Something about that whole thing, he wouldn't expound and give the specifics. Man, I wish he would, because this could provide a little clarity on some of the struggles that maybe, some of the big fights we want to see, some of those financial struggles behind the scenes. But he won't say what it is. He won't say what PBC just doesn't have the money. That's not. He won't come out and say that. A lot of other people are going to tell you that, but I'm telling you, I don't know that for a fact. But it is what it is. But that being said, rooting for AB. I'm not willing to go and bet the house on this guy. I'm not even sure we'll get to the 3rd fight with AB. Let's see how he reacts after his 1st fight. Get the win, get a little money. See if he takes it to the stupid or if he remains humble. Get to the 2nd fight, remains humble, stays disciplined, avoids the alcohol, doesn't sit there and swell up like a French bread. Cool. Then we get to the 3rd fight, and then maybe off to the races. But right now it's too early to say. But at some point, someone's going to talk about this money situation at PBC. Adrien Broner is touching on it. He won't expound, but it's just a matter of time before someone spills the beans. Deontay Wilder's touching on it, but they won't expound. There's still some loyalty there and respect for Al Haymon, but there's some frustration there. Someone's going to talk, and I can't wait till they do. These YouTubers, content creators, they have no goddamn clue. So don't listen to the shit they're saying. I'm telling you right now, one of those PBC fighters are going to come out and talk because they're frustrated. Eddie Hearn's still plugging away. You don't hear nobody say anything about Eddie Hearn. But you watch these other guys, you just listen, pay attention. This is the year where we're going to see, I think, a huge 180 when it comes to the PBC fighters and the stable of fighters and how they remain loyal and they don't talk on the issues going on at PBC. I think we're going to see a complete 180 on that. They're going to come out talking their frustration, and you may see some of those guys, man, just starting to go elsewhere. That's what I truly believe is going to happen. If the money's not there like that, they're not going to stay there. They got to get paid, and they're going to go elsewhere. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. AB is back. Man didn't get any money for his last 6 fights. A little bit of an allowance Al Haymon was giving him. He said he doesn't even want that money. He'll make his own. Doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, more to come. Keep cool in the breeze.